Hello and welcome back to World Talks here on TVP World with me, Hashim Kumar. On Tuesday evening, South Korean President Yoon Yeol unexpectedly declared emergency martial law, accusing the main opposition party of aligning with North Korea and exerting control over parliament. Although this was lifted 6 hours later, protests started in the country, which went on well into the night and beyond. Protesters and opposition lawmakers have been calling for the president's impeachment and have vowed to launch an indefinite strike until this happens. What was behind this surprise move by the president, and how does it impact on the growing Polish-South Korean relationship? Well, to lay this out for us, I'm joined by Stankomir Nicieja. He's associate professor at the University of Opole and a regular guest. Professor Nicieja, welcome back to TVP World.
Hello, and thank you for the invitation.
Pleasure as always, sir. So, surprising, isn't it? South Korea, stable democracy, doing well commercially, no visible problems until this. What happened?
Oh, no visible problems for us, those who watched developments in Korea and in East Asia from a distance. Of course, the political tension has been growing in South Korea for a number of years. This is a very robust democracy, famous for its temper and very frail conditions there. So, but even by South Korean standards and South Korean politics, what the president did last night was really raising eyebrows, not only in Korea, but all over the world, for the reasons that you mentioned. We have this image of Korea as one of the most secure, stable democracies with well-functioning economy. So now I think the number one question in Korea and around the world is, what was the president thinking when he declared that martial law? And what kind of logic led him to such a dramatic decision that probably, or most probably, will cost him his political career and will end his presidency soon?
Professor, I'll come to that in just a second. There was something you said which was of interest. You called it a frail situation. Can you tell us more about that?
So the Korean politics has been rocked by various scandals for a number of years. We have to remember that only in 2017, the president, Park, had to resign amid a scandal of a different nature, but of similar severity, with millions of people, literally millions of people protesting in central Seoul, demanding her resignation. We see, after those years, we see a repeat of that situation. And we talked also about this situation because there has been a lot of tension in the relations between the administration of president of the current president with the newly elected Democratic Party of Korea, that is the opposition party that has been torpedoing much of the presidential initiatives and was making the life of the president very difficult, for example, by impeaching a number of key officials from the government and also threatening investigation of his wife. So it seems that President saw this as the most convenient way to somehow cut this crisis and somehow clear the situation, maybe create a new opening. But this was one of the biggest political gambles in the recent history of Korea, probably one of the biggest political gambles this year, in the year that in international politics was full of very dramatic decisions, very risky decisions that cost politicians in France, in Britain, and we now see in Korea dearly.
So in your opinion, Professor, there's nothing to his accusations of the opposition party being aligned with North Korea?
I think this was just a part of the rhetoric that we could see in North Korea as a kind of standard accusation of especially of the Korean right that anything that is against their interests, against their idea, is in fact collusion with the North Korean government. So president was using that rhetoric quite regularly, and this is nothing new. But declaring a martial law, President Yoon created an unprecedented situation because he refreshed the memories in the Korean society that most of the people believed were long buried, that belonged to the deep and not very good past of the
Right.
of the Korean political system.
Understood. Understood. Now, as we know well, Poland has substantial military connections with South Korea. Poland has already purchased some K2 tanks, and there's lots more coming along from South Korea. You mentioned a frail political situation. Now we've had this. Do you expect any impact of these two things on the relationship between Poland and South Korea?
So far, no. We have no indication that the Korean economy has been in any way affected by this deep political crisis. And I understand that whoever rules or whoever has the upper hand in Korean politics, international contracts, the stability of the economy remains beyond the dispute, and is something that the Korean politicians would, at least in this matter, unite to make sure that the contracts are kept, that the alliances are kept, because of course they are vital, as vital for the survival of Poland as they are vital for the survival of South Korea, that is facing its belligerent and unpredictable neighbor.
Indeed. Okay, so hopefully the government's going to come together, stabilise the situation, and things go on as before. Now, do you think this is an opportunity for North Korea to take advantage of?
We had an acute crisis, but as we know, the situation is now stable. We have protests in Seoul and probably other places, but they are not such a significant disruption that they would help North Korean government to somehow gain any advantages, not at least when we see the situation now. So we have to, because this is just the beginning, very spectacular opening of the political crisis. But of course, we have to watch very, very carefully the further developments. First of all, we have to see the reaction of the President Yoon, because practically his fate is sealed. He practically faces two options: either resign quickly or face nasty but sure impeachment procedure that would lead to his removal from office. So he lost his face and probably is not able to save his political career as the sitting president. But I don't see any a more significant implication of that situation, or that would help North Korea to gain anything but maybe some kind of symbolic or propaganda victory. But they can use it in any way.
Understood.
But on the other hand, you can see that the Korean society has proven its robustness, because the reaction was very immediate and it was very, very clear to the political elites that they have no sympathy or no appetite for any return to the kind of reality Korea had at the end of the 20th century, with martial laws, with protests, with people being killed.
As you say, very, very clear and fast response. Now, in the last few seconds that we have left, Professor Nicieja, will he jump or will he be pushed?
Oh, that's the number one question.
What do you think?
I think he should resign, because he faces he has no chance to stay. So if he wants to rescue whatever can be done, is to clear the way, disappear from politics at this moment. I think he should jump.
Thank you very much indeed, Professor Nicieja, for sharing your expertise with our audience. Have a good evening, sir.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.
And that's all from us in this episode of World Talks. Good night.